Mr. Daguadorj, could you tell us first, you've been directly involved in the negotiations for the past few days.
Yes.
What is the feeling in the International Conference Centre and in the main plenary centre at the moment? Is there a positive feel about the negotiations?
Yes, of course, negotiation is not so easy. Of course, no, I'm very optimistic. I very hope that we will have some results, very concrete results, especially within this AWG-ACA. So I think so we will need to establish a Green Climate Fund, Adaptation Fund, and also technology transfer issues should be addressed at this meeting.
And explain to us, please, the problems that Mongolia is facing with regards to climate change. You were telling me a few minutes ago that there were issues with water shortages, agriculture, and desertification as well.
Yes, Mongolia, of course, you know the location of the Mongolia. So because of this geographical location and also specific climate conditions, we have some specific concern related to climate change. So, of course, our economy is very closely dependent on climate change impacts. Of course, especially animal husbandry, arable farming, also grassland, water issues. Also, we have some country-specific concerns related to permafrost melting and glaciers melting. So.
And we have all seen those wonderful pictures of the Mongolian steppe with your amazing hills and grasslands. Yours is a country that relies heavily, does it not, on the land being suitable for your people to grow their crops and to feed their animals?
Yes, of course we have enough space for grazing animals. No, but during the last few years, because of climate change adverse impacts, there's soil degradation, desertification, it's intensifying. So we need to take some actions to protect these grassland areas in my country.
So from what you're saying, adaptation is very important for you and your people.
Yes. Yes, the government already issued some policy documents to address climate change issues, especially on adaptation. Of course, the government already issued this National Action Program on Climate Change. This program includes adaptation and mitigation measures. No, but the Mongolian government will focus mostly on adaptation issues, especially most vulnerable to climate change. So.
Absolutely. And now you mentioned the Green Climate Fund a few minutes ago. How important is it for Mongolia that that gets finally put to bed at this conference? Because there's been a lot of talk over the past few days. Some countries, I think the USA, aren't overly keen on the way it's being presented at the moment. What are your thoughts on the negotiations about the Green Climate Fund, and how important is it for you and Mongolia as a country that it gets passed?
It's very important not only for Mongolia but also for all developing countries, because funding is essential to take any actions in adaptation and mitigation fields. So we are expecting very big hopes from this establishment of Adaptation Fund. It's a big source of our actions. So.
Absolutely. And now there are a lot of developed countries that say that, you know, they're putting in a lot of money already, but the developing countries, the G77, aren't putting enough money in themselves. They aren't doing enough work themselves to stop the effects of climate change. What would be your response to that?
Of course, the government will pay some attention. Also, the government to give some budgets for some actions. No, but for the developing countries, it's financial resources. It's not enough within the country. So in this case, there's international financial mechanism. It's essential for developing countries. So.
Okay, and a final question. Tell me a bit about the regional cooperation there's been between countries in and around Mongolia.
Yes, Mongolia is located in Northeast Asian countries. So we already established very good collaboration within the countries among these Northeast Asian countries. So we already established some bilateral and multilateral agreements in the field of climate change issues, especially this Economic Research Institute for Northeast Asian countries. We have bridging through this organization to have some very close collaboration among the countries. We already have some results from these collaborations.